Hey guys, my name is Bridget and today we are going to be talking about Between the Lines and Off the Page by Jodie Picoult and her daughter Samantha Van Leer. These books follow a girl named Delilah, and she is in love with this fictional character named Oliver, who is in this fairy tale that she has read over and over and over again. And then one day, Oliver speaks to her, and then they go on this whole adventure trying to figure out how to get him out of the book. They read a lot like a contemporary, but with like a magical twist. So you could sort of imagine some of the things happening, but at the same time there is the whole element of magic with the book. And they do have a YouTube channel for Off the Page for Prince Oliver, so I will link that in the description if you want to go check that out. Those videos are really cute. I would definitely recommend picking them up if they interest you, and if you just want a quick, cute read. That is all I'm going to tell you about it. I know you probably heard about it on BookTube a lot recently because Off the Page was the Booksplosion Book of the Month for June. And I heard about it and I was like, that sounds really cute, so I picked it up and I really wanted to read it right once I got it, so I read them both. And they were really cute. I really enjoyed them. And I do think you should read both of them. Like, you shouldn't just read Off the Page. Like, I know they say they're companion novels, but I feel like this gives you a lot more background knowledge for when you do read Off the Page so that you can enjoy both of them more. I feel like it really just works as, this is the first one, this is the second one, read the first one first. Like, it does give you some background knowledge in this one, but it really works better, I think, if you know what they're talking about when they're talking about it, because then it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that happening, instead of, okay, that happened, I guess. So now I'm just going to go through my ratings for each of the books. Let's start with Between the Lines. Characters I give an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. You learn a lot about the characters, but not as much as I would have liked, because you mainly stay focused on Oliver and Delilah's story rather than everyone else, because there are more characters in them, and this Between the Lines really focuses on Oliver and Delilah because she doesn't really want to talk with anyone about it because she doesn't want them to think she's crazy because she's talking to this character in a book. So she's afraid of telling anyone, and Oliver, he doesn't want to betray his friends in the story by telling them that he wants to leave. So there isn't much conversation with anyone else about the whole plot. While that did happen, we did get to learn about a lot of the characters, so that didn't matter as much as it could have. Plot, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. The plot was very unique. I really enjoyed the idea of a fictional character being real and wanting to live in the real world because their romance was just really cute together. But it was sort of in the way that there's a girl and she doesn't have a lot of friends and might belong, and of course she's the one who finds the book and the book finally speaks to her. They did explain that very well, and it does get a bit better in the second one with the whole respect to that, and how they did explain that they had some kind of connection so that they could talk. Setting, I gave a 16 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. I really enjoyed the two different settings in the book setting and New Hampshire, where Delilah lives. I would have liked for them to be expanded on because they have two completely different places where they live, and you don't really get to expand on that because I would have liked to learn a bit more about the fairy tale world maybe, but it was good the way it was done. Writing, I gave a 17 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. You can never really tell that two people wrote this book just because the writing style stayed the same throughout the book, and it flowed very nicely and it fit the story very well. It was very easy for me to read. I read it a lot quicker than I expected to read it. I read it really fast, guys. But the writing style didn't really stand out to me compared to anyone else's writing style, so that's why I get to the lower rating. Enjoyment, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. It was a very light and cute read. It was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed reading it, and obviously I picked up Off the Page, so I enjoyed it enough to pick up the next book. So overall, I give it an 87% or 4.5 stars. Now on to Off the Page. I would like to say again that I would recommend you read both of them if you want to enjoy the whole story, because you really get more out of it if you read both rather than just Off the Page. I feel like you need both to fully enjoy it. And I'm probably going to keep reading that because I really believe that. Characters, I give it 19 out of 20 or 1 star. The characters in Off the Page had a ton more development than in Between the Lines, so that was great because you really got to know the characters and you really got to see how they changed throughout the book. However, as I've said, I feel like you had to read Between the Lines to really understand how the characters were before, to really appreciate how far they've come in Off the Page. Plot, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. It was very cliche because you knew some things were going to happen, like Oliver not knowing where anything was and being popular, and Seraphima versus Allie, you knew what was going to happen there, sort of, because it's just very cliche. but it was very cute. And I felt a lot more for the characters than I was expecting to. Setting, I gave a 17 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. You really get to see a lot more of the real world in this one. Oliver has escaped the book, so you have 2 people in the real world and 1 in the fairy tale. Reading about the fairy tale world, it sort of assumes that you already know about it. I mean, there is a map at the beginning, but it sort of assumes that you already know about it because you've read between the lines. So reading between the lines helps. Plus, you meet a lot more characters because Oliver's now going to school, so you get to see all of these characters in the real world that sort of fill out the story a lot more. Writing, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. I really liked the italics between some of the chapters. Those were beautiful. They made you think a lot about yourself and just how people react to certain things happening, and they were really great. Especially when you finally read the last one, that one just sort of hit you, because, you know, I'm a reader, and it was just talking about stories and how they're told, and I really loved it. The story was told very well, and it flowed very nicely. There wasn't as much differentiation as there could have been between the different characters who are telling the story, other than the color of the text, but that's okay, like, you can deal with that. They are different, but not as different as you can make them. Enjoyment, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. I really enjoyed this book. It was a quick, cute read, and I'm very glad I picked it up. So overall, I gave it a 90% or 4 3/4 stars. So yeah, I really enjoyed these books. They're really cute. I will see you guys in my next video, which will be up very soon. Okay, bye!